Republicans with that argument. They're already taking a victory lap after President Trump has selected Judge Amy Coney Barrett to join the high court, succeeding Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The GOP says it's got enough votes to confirm her by Election Day. But how is this fight, all this politics, playing out in the battleground states? And could it really impact the vote in November? Our Devin Dwyer went to Minnesota for a closer look.
The battle over the Supreme Court is already a blockbuster on TV.
You'll hear noise from extremists about the Supreme Court vacancy. Here are the facts.
Conservative groups rallying the base as Democrats sound the alarm.
Mitch McConnell jamming through a Supreme Court nomination.
Voters in battlegrounds like Minnesota taking it all in.
I feel like there's a lot of other topics and things that weigh more heavily on my vote.
I mean, I was kind of just like, oh crap, you know, like what's next? It's 2020. What crisis is coming down the pipeline?
Do you think the battle over the Supreme Court will have a significant influence on voters in Minnesota?
I don't think so. I think at this point, voters have already made up their mind. They know if they're voting for Trump, they know if they're voting for Biden. Maybe it mobilizes one side more than another. But what I do think it does is to give Trump something else to talk about.
The high court vacancy is prompting dire warnings from the left on abortion, gay rights, and health care.
This is our entire livelihood that could be shaped by the next 60 or so days.
Some suburban women voters told us the threat is real.
I don't know that anything can be exaggerated in the current state we're in this country.
So it really does worry you?
Yes.
Jamie Becker Finn, a Democratic attorney and mother of two, says a rushed confirmation is deeply unsettling.
It just sends the message that we don't care about what the right thing to do is. We care about keeping as much power as we can have to ourselves at the expense of, you know, average people like you and me. And that's not okay.
But some voters, even Democrats we met this week in the Twin Cities suburbs, were surprisingly measured. Twyla Dang is a podcaster and mother of three teens.
It is a tough situation that we're in right now, but I know whose blood runs in my veins. I know what stock I came from. I know the history. That's a big difference. A lot of people don't know the history we came from to understand that we have the ability to fight, that we have the ability to double down, that we have the ability to get involved, you know,
So
all the way down.
step up, don't sit back.
Exactly. We're actually in a position of power.
Undecided voter Ann Swenson, a retired CPA who calls herself a fiscal conservative and social moderate, says both parties play politics with the court at their peril.
So I think both parties, trust me, I believe both parties can play their games. But you have to be careful. I mean, they have to be careful of what they do because they're setting precedent. Because you don't know how history is going to dare to repeat itself. And I think I can't believe 4 years ago this happened and 4 years, and now it's happening again. I would have never seen this coming.
The greatest threat ahead may be to the court's reputation, enjoying its highest approval rating in more than a decade as Chief Justice John Roberts has tried to keep it out of the partisan fray. A slate of blockbuster opinions last term showed that the justices aren't always rubber stamps for the presidents who appointed them.
I understand that they may lean right or lean left, and they're appointed by Republican or Democratic presidents, but they are titans of the law, and right, left, or otherwise, I trust them to act that way.
That trust is now hanging in the balance as more voters add the court to their calculus for deciding how to cast their ballots this fall.
I think there are women that haven't thought about what the implications of having President Trump seat an additional judge. I think they just haven't thought about that until now, and now that they're thinking about it, there are going to be some people who, for the first time, are thinking, oh, wait, this thing is important to me. I'm hoping what it'll do is really just cause people to become more engaged and pay attention to the details.
And Devin Dwyer joins us now. Devin, maybe it was Minnesota nice, but it was striking to hear how measured, to use your word, measured voters are about the Supreme Court at a moment when both political campaigns, both political parties are just out for a fight to the death, ramping up the rhetoric to just red-hot levels in order to get a victory at all costs. Voters sound very different about the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it was really striking, Terry. I mean, Republicans, Democrats, and independents we met in the Twin Cities suburbs, were basically all on the same page. They were concerned about the direction of this fight. They wanted people to slow down. There was no question that President Trump had the right to appoint somebody to the court, we heard. But the impact of this rushed confirmation is what concerns a lot of people. You heard Jamie Becker-Finn, the Democrat, in the piece there. She talked about fairness, but you also saw Republicans like Ann Swenson. She was worried about what her party was going to do by way of setting precedent, and Michelle Fazzi there at the end, worried about the credibility of the court. So, Terry, it really was striking that people were concerned about the institution of the Supreme Court. They don't like what it might happen here, and that bothers them. Terry?
It's almost as if ordinary Americans and voters have greater care and greater understanding of those institutions and traditions than the political leaders.
Very thoughtful.
Devin, thank you very much for that
Terry.
thoughtful report.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.